Despite being accountable for only 0.6% of global greenhouse gases emissions, Colombia is highly vulnerable to the adverse effects of climate change due to its geographical, economic, and biodiversity features. We are committed to act in a responsible manner to face this challenge, mitigating our greenhouse gases emissions and increasing our adaptation and resilience policies. Last December, we announced our updated national determined contribution under the Paris Agreement with a commitment to reducing our GHG emissions in 51% by 2030. We also committed to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. Nonetheless, if GHG emissions keep rising and big emitters fail to curb their emissions, our territory will suffer the devastating effects of climate change. Recent climate change finance pledges from developed countries are disappointing for the task we have to address in the following years, especially concerning Latin America and the Caribbean region. While we have seen an important increase in global financial flows in recent years, there are still gaps in climate finance we need to acknowledge and address. We must recognize that the goal of providing $100 billion for climate finance for developing countries by 2020 has not been met, but also that even that amount is clearly insufficient to support climate action. There is an urgent need for scale-up and predictable finance for mitigation, as well as additional grant-based finance for adaptation, loss, and damages. Furthermore, while loans are sometimes necessary as part of the financial mix of instruments, they cannot continue to be one and main source of mobilized finance by developed countries to developing countries. In many cases, this financial instrument is increasing unsustainable levels of debt throughout the developing world. Therefore, we need to start the negotiation of the new collective quantified climate finance goals for COP26 with a renewed political will to effectively address the mitigation and adaptation finance gaps. The vivid economics greenness of stimulus index shows that while G20 nations have committed over 14 trillion for COVID-19 recovery, only 12% of that amount has gone to industries with a positive impact on climate and nature. A sustainable and resilient recovery is imperative that will allow us to create jobs and spur economic growth while addressing the climate and biodiversity crisis and improve the quality of life without leaving anyone behind. We are confident that the voices of those most vulnerable will be heard while gathered here today, and that together we will find common answers to the pressing global challenges that we are facing. Thank you so much. We must act boldly, and we must act now.